Hello and welcome back to Blackwatch Intel. My name is Crashy, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a rather unconventional tip for competitive Overwatch. Now, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be discussing the potential of shutting down communication with your team. Now, understand this particular style of play and this particular tip does have its pros and cons, and I want to go on ahead and detail those for you now. So, the kind of immediate cons of shutting down communication, leaving team chat, leaving match chat, and leaving voice communications are the fact that you immediately lose very small bits of information in terms of what's happening in game from the perspective of your teammates. Now, this is the biggest issue with this particular style of play, but there are some pros that can kind of counteract this, and we'll get to those in just a second. The other immediate issue with shutting down communication is that your own senses, your own ability to analyze what's happening in game, your need to have strong game sense immediately goes up by losing the little bits of information that you would otherwise get from your team. So now having to look at the team compositions more, trying to analyze the point of entry for team fights, trying to understand what teammates might use what ultimates, at one particular point in a team fight or one particular point in a match, now all has to be more analyzed and more thought out by yourself individually, because you won't be getting that communication directly from those players. On the plus side of this particular play style, you will rid yourself the ability to get frustrated based on the communication coming from negative players. Now, this is probably the most substantial pro for this particular type of style of play, because of the fact that if you are a very emotional player, if you're someone that doesn't take harsh words, very well, if you're someone that really just has an emotional response to what's being said in game, this is probably an amazing tip for you. And although there are lots of drawbacks to playing without communication with your team, this could actually make you a much better player, or at very least get you focused on your own play and not what your teammate are doing or saying or thinking or feeling. So understand that when you break that communication line, you have enabled yourself potentially to allow yourself to entirely focus on your own set of skills, your own shortcomings, your own ability to perform, and have completely cut out all of the noise and all of the irrelevant negativity that might potentially come your way, while also getting rid of smaller bits of information that you would otherwise get from your team. Now again, this is also a strong way to train your game sense. When you lose that line of communication and you find yourself being killed or caught out of position or using ultimates at the wrong time, this can also be used as a tactic to train your ability to analyze the game and find out why you are making these mistakes without needing that little bit of information from communication with your teammates. Playing without voice comms, for me, I've done it recently on one of my Smurf accounts for the majority of the games, and it seems for me to make the games feel a lot more enjoyable. Most of my games, I find myself sticking on a single hero. I find myself doing the best that I can, not just one-tricking or not just being a selfish player, but really focusing on my own play. Now, lately I've been playing on my lowest account that's currently in Platinum, on the cusp of breaking into Diamond, and it's been a Sombra main account, and I've been really experimenting with anti-dive, anti-flanker, anti-Pharah with Sombra, and the ability to not hear any form of tilt or any form of frustration from teammates has been amazingly successful for me. Now, in terms of SR gain, I've actually been kind of stagnated, but that's not necessarily the point. It's more about my ability to keep my mind in check while training my game sense, training myself to focus on my own gameplay and looking for flaws in my style of play, my positioning, and my ability to perform. Ultimately, this is something that I think everyone in the game should really try and see how they like. At the end of the day, I think playing with communications with your team will always be the better decision, especially if you can train your mind to not focus and keep yourself from being tilted. But not everybody has that ability to do so, and as a very emotional player myself, I understand that it can be very hard to listen to some of the really ridiculous and negative things that people say, and that comes from myself as well. Whenever I hear someone that really puts me on tilt or says something I don't want to hear, it really can ruin the mood of a game and even ruin my entire gaming session in terms of climbing on the competitive ladder for Overwatch. So guys, let me know what you think of this type of tip. It's something that I feel you should strongly try, at least for 5 games or so, 3 games or so, to see what it's like to play with total silence, to be in the most serious of settings that you can put yourself in without any noise, to just focus on your own play and do the best that you can without bringing any form of negativity, and just allowing yourself to kind of explore the options in front of you on your hero in a very serious setting. So let me know what you think of this particular playstyle. If you do get a chance to check it out, please subscribe if you have not done so already, because we are going to be posting videos every single day, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.